All right. Shalom, shalom, Yasharal. Shalom, shalom, Ashpacha. Shalom, shalom. Gonna try to make this quick video. And Samach for this, what is it, Prep Yom, the 6th Yom, the Arab of the 6th Yom that we're entering. That's the evening of the 6th Yom, the Prep Yom. So have a Samach 6th Yom for that. And so that's why I put Arab. Uh, 10, 31, 25, because going by Abarim, the Yom starts in the evening. And I had got this reminded to me right now, earlier, not too long ago, like 10 minutes ago or something, by Malach, possibly Yahusha in the flesh, because he had that presence of authority. I feel that Ruach of Yahusha when it's there. And, he's got the steam of Mak Shalama, the black raven's feathery hair and light skin, like kind of Asian looking like. Because you remember, Dawood was descendant of Moab, his grandmother Ruth, right? So that's Asian. And so, yeah, I was like, whoa, because, I walked outside, ate a quick bowl of cereal, and lost track of time. But there was a shift, like, he knew. So he came out very gentle, like, oh, what's up, man? Like, nice day, right? And I'm like, dang. I wasn't confused about it because I already immediately followed suit. I was like, oh, yeah, because I understand, the Abadi Yom starts in the evening. So it's a nice day, even though it's night, because it's like the beginning of the Yom, like female, like in the Ruach, the next Yom, the eve of the next Yom. And wait for this to go by. And the only reason I'm talking really low and gentle, because he was talking to me low, gentle. So it's like already giving me a foundation, like if I do video, to go low. And like I thought about everything just now, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's why he was talking low. But at the same time, he said, nice yom, right? Like nice day. Like, yeah. And I to me, I just took it like that's what he meant in the ruach. But honestly, at first, for a split second there, I thought he made a mistake. I thought he was just like I felt like he didn't really pay attention to what he had just said. Like he was just like uh, idly saying like nice day, and then like I was like, and any normal person would be like, oh yeah, the sun's nice. They made a joke about it or something like, oh, it's night, right, or something like, he said nice day. But I was like, oh yeah, it is. I just went with it because I'm like, hey, because I thought he made a mistake like on his part. But for us, it was like, oh yeah, but that's the truth. Like, so he like Nabu, like he spoke in the Ruach. But and then like it hit me like, wait a minute, what if he's like, I already felt the Ruach of Yahusha in him, to be honest. I'm like fear and trembling inside. I ain't gonna lie. And then he's just like, yeah, like, the way he was talking was kind of like a dope, gentle shepherd leading me in, like, hey man, it's time to go inside, But he's like, oh, we supposed to be like, what time we gotta be in? I'm like, oh, it's possible. Probably, I think right now it looks like everybody's like kind of disappearing, like lights are turning on, like we're shooting. He's like, oh yeah, huh? And like, and then what else? He was just cool, and nonetheless, yeah, there's other things I want to say. I can't remember now, but just the fact that he did that, and then just the way he carried himself. I mean, that's Yahusha in the flesh right there. And anyways, praise report too. Just touch on that. The shoes, Brockio. I'm not gonna go into that now. The real reason I wanted to get on was because something I said earlier in the earlier video. That I was gonna share something out of the scriptures, and I titled this. Or I titled it. Um, that the Torah feeds your eternal Naphash. Like the Torah is literally food for your eternal being, your eternal Naphash. It feeds you when you do it. And I'm going to show you that just with the body wordplay in the context of the Abarim. So, or the Abadi. So we're gonna look at that real quick, and that's it. Trying to keep this one sweet and simple. So we go to. Well, I have it open here. All right, let me just flip this around. All right, so check it out. We're in Shemot. This is chapter 23, verse 15. So if you go to Shemot chapter 23, verse 15, right there it says, guard the festival of Matzut, right? Matzaut or Matzut, 7 yamim, you eat unleavened bread, okay? We're going to look at how this is spelled, Matzut, in the Abari, as we see it in the Abari. It's reflective. There it is, verse 15. At Chag, right? See that? At Chag, that's a festival, guard the festival. Ha of Matzut, right? Matzut. Or some might say Matzaut, as if there's a, one of those A's. You can say Matzaut or Matzut, either way. Ha Matzaut. All right? So that's unleavened bread, right? And then you see when it says like to eat unleavened bread, you see that again, where, see here, guard festival matzot, 7 yamim, you shall eat unleavened bread. So we have at Chag HaMatzaut or Matzut, Tashamar Shabbat, 7 Yamim days, Takal, I guess that would be you eat. There it is, Matzut, right? There is again Matzut, unleavened bread, right? You see that? Matzut. Kashar, Suitak. All right, but that we're not going to go into that. We're just focusing on the word Matzut. All right, so that's unleavened bread. So where am I getting at? What is the traditionally taught word that we're told by Hebrews, by Jewish people, Messianics, what we're told the lexicon, strong concordance say, and all that, is a word for commandments, or Torah, for laws. We might say mitzvah, right? Mitzvah. It's not. Remember, there's no V in a body, so it's actually a U, and it's matsua, just like matzah. It's like the same word as matzut. But let's look at it here in this is Dabarim, right? Deuteronomy, Dabarim, chapter 6. It says, and this is the command, the laws and right rulings that Yahuwah, your Elohim, has commanded to teach you to do in the land that you are passing over to possess. All right, so we're going to look at that very first verse. It says again, remember, this is a command in the laws. So here we are, 6, and it says, Uhat Hamatsu. What? It's like almost the same word as unleavened bread. It's the same word, only it's got a H at the end of this one. It's a little different because the context it's saying it in. It says Uhat Hamatsua. Matsua. That's what it is, like Ruach, right? Whenever we read Yahuwah, right? Yahuwah, it's the Yah-Hey, Uah-Hey. And how do we end the Uah-Hey? Uah. And Uah means like in Yahuwah, Yah is like he, and then Uah is like is existence or high, So Matsua, Matz is like what they use for matzah, is like the bread of Chai. So right there you have, U, Ha'at, and I believe that's like to guard the Matsua, the Matsua. I'm sorry. These are the commands, right? Sorry. Chapter 6, and this is the command. So that's probably what that's saying. I don't have the going around, but just certain keywords. Uhat. So it's probably these are the ha matsua, the commands. But it's the same word as like matzah, just has the matsua. These are the, in one way the play on words is this is the bread of chai, is the commands. The commands are the bread of chai. So the commands is by doing them, it's like you're eating, you're consuming this into your ruach, keeping you alive, nourishing your Naphash eternally. Matsua, it brings Ua, Chai. Alright, so I'm going to show you another example of that. It's going to actually be the, so y'all know it ain't too far fetched. It's actually going to be the exact same word as unleavened bread. So now this is the end of, not the end, but chapter, what were we on? Dabarim, chapter 6, verse 17. Diligently guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim and his witnesses and his laws that he has commanded you. Right? Diligently guard the commands of Yahuwah. Verse 17, chapter 6. We're going to look at that right here. Verse 17. Look what it says. It says, Shamur. It's probably diligently guard, something like that. Tashamarun. At Matsut. What? Diligently guard, I'm assuming something like that. The unleavened bread? It's the same word. Matsaut. And this is talking about the commands. And it says diligently guard the commands. Well, here, that's the same word as unleavened bread. That's saying diligently guard the unleavened bread. Because unleavened bread and commands is the same word. So we're going to look at that again in case you didn't catch that. We're going to look at the Exodus. Let's take that. Grab that Shamut. I accidentally took my finger off that, but sorry, we'll get right back to it. Of course, you can just go back in the playback, but because I'm going live for myself, for those that are just watching, chilling, trying to, well, I guess that's quicker, but still, okay. Here we are, Shamut 23. Because I got to see this for myself again, make sure I'm not tripping. And I'm not, because Yahush told me this before I even found it. I was talking about this. Some of y'all probably remember that. I used to talk about that, like, because I glimpsed at it once, and I'm like, oh, it's like the same word as unleavened bread, only as the ua. But something was telling me, like the ruach was telling me, there's another version of that word that's actually the exact same word as matzut, as the actual unleavened bread. It's just depending on the way it's the context, but it's there. And I was like, yeah, one day I'll find it. I already had that feeling, like that assurance, expectation. I'm gonna, when I decide to finally look for it, bam, I'm gonna find it. To this moment was a yom. I decided to look for it. I just literally just on a whim just opened it and decided to, like, let me look through Davarim and see where places it has laws and commands and see if it has anywhere where it says matzut, like unleavened bread. And it only took like less than 5 minutes to find. There it is again. Shamut, Exodus 23, verse 15. Guard the festival of Matzut, unleavened bread, right? That's 23:15. Okay? So here it is again. 15. Right? At Chag, the festival of Matzut. It's the Maim, the Tzadi, the Sad, Uta. Maim, Tzad, Uata. Maim, Tzad, Uata. See that? Matzut. Alright? M, Tsa, TS, like a flag. It looks like a flag in the unity. M, flag, UT. Alright? M, flag, UT. Remember that. Let me come over here. Verse 17, diligently guard the commands. That's verse 17. And here we go. There it is. M flag UT. At Matsut. Now the other one had the Hamatsut because that's just they connected the at the front of that one because it's the way the sentence was structured. So it said Hamatsut, the unleavened bread, guard the feast of the unleavened bread. But here it doesn't have the unleavened bread. It says diligently guard the commands. So it's at Matsut. But nonetheless, the word for commands and unleavened bread is the same word, Matsut. And so now we understand. Think of every time you see the word bread in the scripture, think of the law and the commandments, like why he was always putting those things together. Like, now you look at Uyakra where it talks about, and I think that's Uyakra 16, Leviticus 16, no, Exodus Shamut 16, where it says 6 Yamim it shall rain manna from Shamayim, and on the seventh Yom it won't rain none, right? So 6 Yamim you gather it, on the sixth Yom gather twice as much for the seventh Yom, or for the Shabbat, because it won't rain none. And then I connect that with Davarim chapter 8 to let you know man doesn't live by bread alone, but every word spoken by the mouth of Yah. In other words, it was raining manna, because manna and Torah are the same thing. It was the manna that was falling from the Shamayim was teaching them how to keep the Torah, teaching them how to keep the Matzut. So it was like raining Matzut, teaching them how to keep Matzut. You know what I mean? Manna. And manna is obviously, it's not lacham. Lacham or lakam is the word for bread, like loaf bread, like bread, with leaven in it, leavened bread. Unleavened bread is matzua and matzah, and its idea of like what mana symbolizes is more closely linked to matzah, because matzah symbolizes, or mana symbolizes the just what is sufficient for what your being, your Naphash, your soul needs, your Naphash, your being needs. You don't need all the extra, bells and whistles and all that. You just need to get to point A to point B. You just need what you need in this high to get to eternity. And it's just the laws and commandments. It's got a little bit of sweet. It tastes like honey. Your word, your Torah is sweeter than honey, right? Your word is sweet as honey, sweeter than the honeycomb. So, and then it said that the unleavened bread, or the manna that fell from Shamayim, also tasted like honey. So Chakma is symbolic of the commands. What did the manna teach them? How to keep the Sabbath. It rained manna 6 yamim, but on the seventh yom it didn't rain, to teach them how to keep the Sabbath, to let them know man doesn't live by bread alone. But even the manna that fell obeys the Sabbath. It was an object lesson. It didn't work on the Sabbath. It didn't rain down on that yom, to teach them how to keep it, to teach them that what they're living off of, what's keeping them alive, is keeping Torah. The way that the manna was falling from Shamayim was in accordance to Torah, that it was teaching them that Torah is what's keeping them alive, not just however you want to live, like eat this day, like certain, like, no, it's the Torah, like doing it the way Yahuwah instructed it. 6 Yamim, it rained manna. On the 6th Yom, it rained twice as much, so they had enough for the 6th Yom and the Shabbat Yom, because the 7th Yom, there wouldn't be none to go out and collect it in the field. Not that you can't prepare a meal or something, but, well, it does say don't kindle fire, and lately Yahuwah's been showing me I've been making some, like, awesome little recipes with beans and mixing it up with different things, and you don't even, like, I don't have to cook. He's actually had me experiment with raw eggs. Like, he just told me one day, throw some raw eggs in there, like when I needed them, and mix it up in there with the beans, and then add a little tuna packet and some mayo and some Creole seasoning with the beans. It was bomb. I was like, wow, like, oh yeah, you can eat raw eggs. It's not bad for you, And I felt like I had better benefits off of that. Nonetheless, that's what Matsut is all about. Guard the festival of the commands, or unleavened bread. So it's in a way like a play on words, a play on idea of it is like saying to guard the festival of unleavened bread is synonymously as saying guard the festival of the commands. So it's like saying that if you reverse engineer it backwards, It's like saying keeping the commandments are festive. It's like festive to keep the Torah. It's festive. It's like a samacha, a gladness to be able to do Torah. It should bring gladness to your lab, and comfort and a secure expectation. It should be like festivities to keep the commandments, not a burden. If you truly believe, trust that it brings eternal high, then it fulfills, satisfies all your expectations for high after death, and it gives you that the things you need to have in order in this path, in this walk, in your home, as they say, have your house in order. What you need to have in order on this journey, to have eternal high, is just to keep matzut, keep unleavened bread, or keep the commandments. And so by keeping unleavened bread, you're keeping the commandments. By keeping the commandments, it's like you're feasting on unleavened bread, exactly what you need. The manna from above that fell from Shamayim. 6 yamim you eat or collect it, you go out and work, because it was more collecting it is symbolic of working. You had to go out in the field and pick it and work it. But on the seventh yom you rest, and that's gives you eternal high. That's the matzut. And so we see Yahusha uses this play on words when he meets the Samaritan woman at the well, and he speaks to her. And the Talmudim, the disciples, had left to go get some bread, some food, and left him there. They went to get some lacham, and when they come back, they say, hey, Yahusha, here we're back. We brought some bread, brought some lacham. And he said, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm cool. I already ate. I'm through." And they said, "What? Did somebody already come by and feed you and we didn't know?" And he said, "No, I have lacham, bread that you do not know of." And he said, "Doing the desire of my Abba is my bread, my lacham," or he might have even said is my matzut in the original body. If we really wanted to make that connection with the play on words, because they're one and the same, it might be possible, more probable that he said, "Doing the desire of my Abba is my matzut." He would have said, "Is my," like he was saying, "my bread," or "my unleavened bread." Doing the desire of my Abba is my unleavened bread, but it would have been like a rapper, like a play on words, like doing the desire of my Abba is my commandments, like my command. That's my purpose. That's my law, But if he used the word, matzut, it would have meant both, like my bread and my law. What sustains me for eternity is the law that feeds me. Doing the desire of my Abba, the law that sustains me, that feeds me, nourishes me. And we see that fits perfectly well because the context of that conversation was bread. Hey, we brought bread. He said, "No, thank you. I have bread that you do not know of. Did someone come by and bring you bread?" Nope. Doing the desire of my Abba is my matzut, my living bread, or is my laws. Doing the desire of my Abba is the laws. Basically, praise, yeah. And then again, we've seen Yahukanan, chapter 6, when he says, "I am the true lacham that came down out of Shamayim." The true manna that came down out of Shamayim, the true food, the true lacham, the true bread. Might have even said, "I'm the true matzut," that came down out of Shamayim, literally reverencing that he's a true, like, matzah, the true unleavened bread that came down out of Shamayim, but not just saying that he's the true unleavened bread that came out of Shamayim, but he might have actually been saying both, like, I'm the true unleavened bread from Shamayim, but I'm also the Torah. I'm the true commands from Shamayim. Whoever eats of me, my words, the commands, and the way I'm saying how to do them, shall have eternal high. That's awesome, right? Barak Yahuwah Yahusha. So with that, I trust you are edified. And so with that, I bid y'all farewell. May Abba Yahuwah Barakatah favor you and increase you, guard you and protect you, and strengthen you and keep you. Abba Yahuwah make his face shine upon you, be compassionate and favorable towards you. Yahuwah lift his countenance and his presence and essence upon you, and give you shalom, and fill you with all the fruit of the Ruach, and all this truth, and insight, and chakmah, that we might be a light to one another, that we might be a light to the nations and a light to one another, to sharpen each other as iron sharpens iron, that we might prepare each other to be a perfect, spotless, pure virgin bride, prepared for you, Adanainu, Alahainu, Mashiachinu, Makiainu, Aishiainu, Yahusha Mashiach, that we might be worthy, that we be worthy to enter the marriage wedding supper of the Lamb, to be brought into your chambers, that we be Echad, that we abide in you and you in us, that we be Tamim as you are Tamim. For you have Yahuwah, Mak Yahusha, to make us Tamim in your image and Ruach HaKodesh. So Palal and petition these things, have Yahuwah, Mak Yahusha, and Ruach HaKodesh, for praise and Todah and gratefulness, by the power of the Dam of the Shah, the renewed covenant, by your power and authority, Mak Yahusha Mashiach, Adanainu Alahainu, Adani Ali, Turu Turu Tur, Aman, Aman, Aman. Halal Yahuwah, Yahusha, Hallelujah. Halal Yahuwah, Yahusha. And with that, I bid y'all farewell. Shalom, shalom, Yasharal. Shalom, shalom, Ashpacha. Shalom, shalom. Ani Ahavata.